Alright, it's Tribulation, day 126. Man, 126 days. It's hard to believe. And you know, as crazy as it sounds, I feel like I need a vacation from the tribulation. But you know, the reality is you can't actually run and hide from the tribulation. What you can do is stick your head in the sand, or just, you know, forget that it exists. But, you know, it's real. It'll catch right back up. But, you know, technically, I'm gonna take a vacation. Next weekend, I'm going up to Reno with my brother, and we're gonna play some parlays, some bets on football, some futures. It's crazy, you know. Every year for like the last 20 years, I've put futures on sports, whereas this year, you know, it almost feels pointless. But I'm gonna do it anyway. Got a future on the Patriots already. Alright, you know, just circling the wagons on the tribulation. You know, the world is still spiraling down into chaos. Probably the biggest thing, you know, is earth change, extreme weather, climate change, millennium, you know, the 25,000 year progression. Whatever you want to label it. You know, the Mayans predicted it. Pretty much in every culture they talk about it, because I think that's starting to be the truth, is that, you know, you can, you know, everything's in cycles, and you know, the Earth and the Sun and the solar system and the galaxies are like a finely hewn machine, man. That's the craziness, is it's not chaos. It's perfect order. You know, if you have the knowledge, you can look into the future. You know, it's precise precision math. And because of it, you know, what's happening is not an accident. It's not by chance. It's what's supposed to happen. It's what's foretold. But whether it's the Mayans, or in the Bible and Revelations, or in the Muslim world in the Quran, they're all different angles looking at the same thing. But when you look at that front, man, it's crazy. We got the polar caps melting, huge chunks of ice floating off of Canada, you know, volcanoes activating everywhere, geothermal activity everywhere you look. You know, from over there in Turkey and Pakistan and whatnot, Russia, you know, they got floods everywhere. Droughts, famines, tornadoes, hurricanes. The list goes on and on and on. Solar flares, sun going crazy, coronal mass ejections, which are causing all sorts of, you know, disruptions. Possible, you know, dwarf star comets coming through. You know, there's absolutely no arguing about the rise in activity. And, you know, the explanation I've heard the best is, you know, when people say it's birthing pains, you know, because when a woman gets, you know, is about to deliver a child, you know, she gets a pain, and then there's another pain 5 minutes later, and then, you know, 4 minutes later, and 3 minutes later, and, you know, like they keep getting quicker and quicker and quicker until all of a sudden, you know, out pops a baby. But in this case, you know, something's coming, you know, something big, transformation, end of the world, something. I don't think there's any doubt. You know, the end of this month is already looking to just be crazy. That's why I'm actually going to Reno, but I was looking at my calendar, and technically I'll probably be coming back to San Jose, you know, around the 27th, 28th. So, you know, who knows where I'll be if things get really, really crazy. And of course, we got that satellite that's going to crash to the planet on the 23rd, and no one knows exactly where that's going to crash. But you know, hey, we don't need satellites. We got airplanes. I'm going to Reno where that plane just crashed. You know, injured all sorts of people, killed I think 9 people. But you know, the craziness is everywhere, no matter where you look. You know, the Middle East is ready to blow. This is the week coming up. And I'll tell you, I'm not getting good vibes from this whole thing, because all the countries around Israel seem to be lining up against them, including Saudi Arabia was warning, you know, Obama not to veto the Palestinian statehood. And, you know, the bottom line is this. It's the wrong way to go about it, you know, for the UN to draw lines for Palestine where Palestine and Israel are just at each other's throats, and all the countries around Israel are ready to jump in and help, you know, put a beat down on them. And because what happens is as soon as they make the vote and draw the lines, the next thing they're going to do is drop resolutions condemning Israel and telling it to, you know, back the hell off and, you know, get out of Palestine. Not going to be good. You know, the way it needed to move forward was for Palestine and Israel to cool their jets, to get a peace going, no terrorism, no firing of missiles, no retaliation, no bombing of houses. But you get both sides to agree to calm down and be peaceful, and then you sit around a table and you negotiate a settlement between the two parties. The way this is going to go down, it's not going to be good. And you know what? I don't think the United States is going to veto anything. I'm guessing that. That's going to be bad news. You know, on the political, financial fronts, everything's a disaster. You know, the EU is still collapsing. The United States is on the brink. We got the super committee, which is a joke, and why everybody's waiting around holding their breath, you know, because just like here in California, you know, Jerry Brown made a budget and it was all smoke and mirrors, so it's not going to materialize. So he has these, that was the new gimmick where you put in the, you know, it's like a booby trap automatic cuts. So here in California, you know, when the money doesn't materialize, we're going to be cutting, you know, and the way the government does it is the first people they cut is the most important people, you know, like the cops and the nurses and teachers. And the last people they're going to cut are the bureaucrats and the administrators and lifelong political appointees and people that are just parasites on society. But, you know, in California, those triggers are going to launch, and guess what? You know, the super committee, those triggers are going to launch. The Disarm America, you know, $500 billion cut in our defense spending, and of course, you know, wherever the other cuts are. But what all Americans know is our system's broke, man. That's the truth. America is broken. And, you know, I stopped voting in '92. You know, that's when Bill Clinton got elected, because that right then I said, man, this country's broken. The elections ain't working. You know, that was as rigged as it gets. You know, Ross Perot was like a decoy. But, you know, to me, it's not about Republicans and Democrats anymore. You know, and I actually was foolish enough to come out of non-voting and vote in the 2008 election, and I voted against Obama. You know, mainly because when I listened to the things he was saying, none of it added up. It had nothing to do with his race. It was just, it was moon math, man, you know, when I was listening to him. And you know what? I was right, because everything he touches is a disaster. You know, he just wants to spend us into oblivion. You know, America owes more money than we can ever possibly pay back. And no jobs are coming back to America. Everybody knows that. Just sucks. You know, so it's like the perfect storm. Everything's in motion right now. If that isn't a tribulation, I don't know what is. But, you know, I gotta admit, there are times where I feel kind of tired of it all. Well, anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. Hopefully, I'm gonna try and suck up some fortitude to deliver a blog tomorrow. Maybe dig a little deeper into some things. Gonna try and think positive. Gonna get my tribulation on. Gonna meet it head on. Alright, rock on.